Is Russell Brand the new Joe Rogan? Well, the Independent sure thinks so. I want to just read y'all this article, at least part of this article, and just let y'all decide for yourselves. And then I'll kind of give my opinions of what I think about kind of Russell Brand and Joe Rogan in general, and why I kind of think that there's some truth and then there's some fallacies when it comes to this argument from the Independent. Let's just go ahead and get right on into this. English actor and comedian Russell Brand has become the latest target of the corporate media, who have basically accused him of spreading conspiracy theories and derogatorily labeling him the British Joe Rogan. Now, when I think of conspiracy theories, I think of people that I don't know, like I don't know, ancient aliens. I think conspiracy theories with that because they are just kind of going out there and they really truly have the belief that this happens. I kind of feel like when you're spreading conspiracy theories, you're not just being like, well, okay, I see this situation at hand and everybody's saying it's A, but just, I'm just thinking out loud, what if it's B, C, or D? In that I don't feel like that's spreading conspiracy theories. That's just maybe kind of thinking critically and being like, is the narrative that they're actually telling me correct? And is there any flaws with it that maybe I should challenge the narrative about? I don't really feel like that is, I don't know, spreading conspiracy theories. I just feel like that is something that they teach you in college, that they're supposed to teach you in high school, of thinking critically. I feel like that's a lot of people's problems is they believe stuff whole-handedly because someone else tells them to, and they don't even bother to try to poke holes in what their own beliefs are. And I feel like that's just not a very smart way to go about life in general. Let's go ahead and let's read this. It says last week, The Independent published an article written by Clements McCallion entitled Russell Brand is the New Joe Rogan, which is funny to me. And I'm the one he warned you about, in which the author accused the English comedian of peddling conspiracy theories on YouTube. I'm old enough to remember when YouTube was just full of conspiracy theories. Is Elvis still alive? Is Tupac still alive? Is I don't know, ancient aliens? Who shot JFK's? So forth, so forth, so forth. That used to be all YouTube was, and now YouTube is trying to be like, no, actually, we don't believe that. Yes, during the Trump years, any conspiracy theory that anybody come up with, we totally went head over heels in love with and still promote to this day. It's just when he's not in office anymore and it's against someone maybe we give money to that we no longer appreciate these conspiracy theories. Bit hypocritical on YouTube's part, but it is what it is. Comparing him to to Rogan due to his use of the language of conspiracies, specifically in how he affectionately calls his viewers awakening wonders and occasionally welcomes them on a purported journey towards truth. Look, um, that is Brand being a 2022 hippie. Like he kind of still is caught up in this like warped love everyone and blah blah blah. The crap that you hear back in the 70s, he's still into that. Maybe I'm cynical, but I never really bought into that garbage too much. Man, again, that's the cynic in me, but can't help who I am on that. Every time that I want to roll my eyes anytime I hear some garbage that he spouts when it comes about, about the, peace and love bull crap, because that's just not real life. Anyways, McCallion declared that the comedian was simply stoking fear of an unnamed enemy, urging people to believe there exists a deeper hidden truth that only the guy with the podcast could possibly reveal. You know what? That's kind of funny because they're upset because he's maybe trying to think a little deeper into something. See, again, that goes back to poking holes in something you even passionately believe in. I do that all the time. I do that in things that I believe 110% about. I still try to poke holes into it to be able to see maybe the other side of it, to try to see if maybe my view on this is a valid view and that I'm not just so ingrained in my own thoughts or that I just take somebody's word for something a little too much. Or, those things happen with everyone. Every one of us fall into that trap. So the idea that they're like basically just I'll spell it out for you. What he's trying to say is you're not the media is giving you a narrative and you're not following that narrative because of this YouTuber, and we're pissed about it because you're thinking deeply into something that will poke holes into the lies that mainstream media tells us. And that's not cool for them because they know at the end of the day, probably, and it's sad to say, but Russell Brand probably does more looking into stories than what probably your average media does. When it comes to New York Times, when it comes to Fox News or CNN or any of that. I mean, he's just wanting to find the truth of something. He's not necessarily looking at it from a zealot's point of view, and that's what they hate. The following day, the publication published yet another attack on Brand, this time written by the independent contributor Louis Chilton. His headline positing the question, how did Russell Brand go from stand up stardom to peddling YouTube conspiracy theories? Chilton's piece accuses the English comedian of reinventing himself with a series of alarmist videos tackling issues like COVID and the Russian Ukrainian war, trivializing Brand's content as a mixed bag of healthy skepticism and poorly sourced controversy mongering. I would say it's not poorly sourced. It's actually pretty sourced, pretty legit, is what I would call it, in a lot of different ways. Do I agree with everything that comes out of his mouth? No. But I'm not going to say that the man doesn't at least try to look into it. He actually does. Um, and, as far as reinventing himself, I hear that so often. As a viewer of even Russell Brand, of Tim Pool, you hear that all the time. We are, you know, men, every time they get, accused of being far right, they're like, man, when I was like 20 years old, man, I voted for somebody in the left. And I'm like, that's because you were ill informed. And when you became informed, you actually realized you're probably more center right than anything. I mean, and there's no shame in that. But I feel like so many of these podcasters fall into that trap where they have to, instead of just holding true to their own values that they've come to as an adult, they instead, when the media starts attacking them over it, they start trying to be like, "Whoa, I was, hey, I'm not as far different as what y'all are." Me personally, I'm like, I am what I am, and you either love me, you hate me, you love what I say, or you hate what I say, and that's perfectly cool. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to posit back to, well, man, I say this, but hey, back in the day, I was this way. No, no. I am what I am. And I believe in my views and I hold true to my views. And if that gets me canceled, that gets me canceled. I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I'm something I'm not. I'm not. I feel like too often, too many on the right try to do this, or too many of these new people on the, that kind of are espousing what is right leaning thing, try to pivot in that way of, well, yes, I think of this now, but man, I used to believe in this. And I'm like, whatever. I kind of feel like I feel like it's just a stupid pivot, is what I think of it. If a comedian of waning mass market appeal were looking to drum up ticket sales and bolster their profile, there'd be worse ways to go about it than a series of topical controversy mongering YouTube videos, he asserted. In response, Brand took in his eponymously named YouTube channel, addressing both of the Independent's attempt at launching a smear campaign against him in a 17-minute long video. The establishment and the mainstream media are coming for me and coming for this channel, the comedian prefaced his video, noting that corporate media has labeled him as a conspiracy theorist, a right wing nut, and an anti, of course. I'm even going to say it because YouTube will probably ban me over it. And I don't mind being banned over my views, but I do not want to be banned over saying a word. Like that would be so stupid. He then proposed, if you don't think that I'm those things, and I don't think that I'm those things, could there be any other reason why the mainstream media and establishment want to shut down open discourse and dissent? As you know, the point of this channel is to have an open conversation, and much of what we do is about critiquing news, analyzing the type of content you get in the mainstream media or the corporate media, looking at whether or not there's an agenda at play, said Brand regarding the type of content he produces on his channel. He went on, there's a lot of things we look at, so that's what the point of this channel is. We don't claim to be the news channel. We are looking at news and analyzing news. That's what we're doing. So the idea of misinformation, this is opinion. This is obviously my opinion. Now, I'm not going to just further in this because, again, I feel like he's completely and totally right on this. The idea of the word misinformation now is not that it's misinformation, it's just you disagree with their opinion. That's really truly just what that word means now. And I think we as, a nation in America or just the world in general, this viewpoint of if you're not in my camp, then you're against me is a little bit ridiculous. This cancel culture stuff is crazy. No one needs to be on the side of the media for this. No one needs to be canceled. Everyone needs to be able to say what they want. I am believe that 110%, and I'll always believe that. And I feel like the reason why Russell Brand is not the same man that he was maybe back in 2006 is because he's become informed of the issues. But I'm not going to spouse up here and say that he's, a hero, should be a hero of the right, or he should be, or Joe Rogan, a hero of the right. I don't think they should. I think people that are on the right maybe should be a little weary of them because at the end of the day, these people are going to be branded as far righters, and they're going to, in any view that they have, and in Russell Brand's case, he might delve into things that old Joe Rogan won't do. And you don't want to be, if you're a right winger, you probably might not want to be associated with every little thing that comes out of Russell Brand's mouth. That's just what I'm saying when it comes to if you're a right winger, maybe be a little weary of wanting Russell Brand on your side in a lot of different ways. But hey, this says to me, it says a lot about social media. It says a lot about the media now that they're really pissed off that because they have Ivy League degrees, that you're sitting there caring about what an ex MMA announcer and a has been movie star has to say about the world that differs from their own. And that's really what it comes down to. And that's why the media wants them canceled. Because if the media doesn't get them canceled, then people like Russell Brand and people like Joe Rogan will end up getting more views than CNN. And that's what's happening now. Uh, no one, unless you're in an airport, is watching CNN. And that's just the sad truth about it. And they know that they're about to be extinct as a media company if they don't try to get these people that people are actually interested in canceled, because they want the narrative. They want people to believe that anything that comes out of their mouth that somebody should take wholeheartedly, and if they don't take it wholeheartedly, they must be canceled immediately. It's crazy. But hey, this is the world we live in. This is the world, unfortunately, that we've created for ourselves. And unless people like, I don't know, like I said, Tim Pool, Russell Brand, Joe Rogan, unless they start waking up more, I kind of feel like Tim Pool and Russell Brand have definitely woke up, but I still feel like Joe Rogan maybe has some learning to do when it comes to that. But I feel like these people that are on these famous podcasts and so forth, unless they start realizing that the left is going to be after them if they don't believe full heartedly in things, and they need to maybe fight back a little bit by saying, "Hey, no, 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 cancel culture, wrong, completely and totally. Don't pay any mind to what this has been media has to say about us." That's where I think they need to do, really, just in general. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think down below. Do you believe Russell Brand is the next Joe Rogan? Do you believe he peddles in conspiracy theories? Do you even care? Let me know in your comments down below. And as always, guys, y'all can catch us on Rumble and Minds here on Rants or Us. And please like, subscribe, and leave that comment down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Y'all take care.